All right. So to summarize my thoughts, when I was a teenager, I didn't usually evaluate discipleship by just our regular meeting times, so Sunday mornings or Wednesday nights. But typically, I thought of discipleship as some form or process of being poured into directly by an adult, and being shown, a little bit how to pray, how to read the Bible, and that process. Even if I'm in a covenant group with other people, that still having that time that's specifically invested in me, at least from my view as a teenager, that's how I saw discipleship. And so, kind of through those lens, to me, one of the greatest improvements would just be really committing to the students and committing uh, the time to meet regularly, and to, if schedules get thrown off, being willing to adjust and trying to pursue after these students and meet with them throughout their time in the youth ministry. So being able to commit with time, but also just being able to commit to going through curriculum, whether that being on the track of just going book by book in scripture or going through a study, but being able to commit to that and committing to holding uh, students accountable for how they're growing spiritually, for the sin in their life. And so I think the greatest improvement would be just that really committing to students in their spiritual growth from the moment they enter seventh grade or sixth grade to when they graduate high school. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, my thought is when I was teenager, since I never had the discipleship course formally in my youth group, I cannot really evaluate how it goes. Like I never have the Bible study, I never had the prayer meeting, we never had the Wednesday worship even. We never have the kind of looks like discipleship. We didn't even have that. So, but one of the teacher kind of helped me to the course of discipleship, not formally, kind of informally, like bi-weekly, like monthly goes, but still it helped me. But with my background that I have not been disciple and I never had the discipleship course, I have thought that what the greatest improvement would be, which is the worldview and perspective changing. Like young adults, when they go college, when they go outside of the world, they try to find the answer from the world, like everywhere, and they try to define them with their own thought. But discipleship discipleship surely gives the biblical worldview and biblical thinking and truly different perspective how they live in the world biblically and spiritually, so that they will have those kind of guidance how to live. So it kind of gives a boundary. So discipleship surely will help them to live in those boundary through changing their worldview, through changing their perspective from their how they disciple in their youth group and when they're a teenager.
All right. So I grew up outside of the Baptist world and had hoped that my story was different than these guys. However, I didn't grow up getting discipled either, nothing formal. The closest thing that I had to it was catechism, which is basically a 2-month deal where you go through the book and answer the questions whenever you get to 7th grade, almost as an entry point to the youth group. So a way I see that would have improved that is a long-term planned intentional discipleship where over the long term there's intentional discipleship happening that is geared towards some of the things Song had brought up as far as spiritual disciplines, something as simple as learning how to pray. Those kinds of things would have been tremendously helpful.